I hope my wife isn't watching right now. Pornography. What? Where? No. We're discussing it. Not really showing it. I mean, why would we? It's readily available pretty much everywhere, and it really is. Mathew Fradd has a website, theporneffect.com, and he thinks porn can be an addiction, and one that has to be broken. An addiction?
Sure. Well, I mean, it's interesting. We need to make the distinction, I suppose, between a natural addiction and something that we inject or snuff. But, I mean, two common neurotransmitters that take place in sexual arousal are dopamine and epinephrine. So, I mean, if they are injected by a physician when a heart slows down, we call it a drug. Dopamine is prescribed by doctors if someone has Parkinson's disease because of its role in body movement. We call it a drug then. But if it's produced in the brain, is it still a drug? And I'd say yes. Now, I should point out, I don't know a whole lot about addiction, so I don't want to get in over my head, but from the cases that I deal with, just the people I speak to, it's definitely difficult. I mean, it's almost like by looking at pornography, the pleasure thermostat in the brain kind of becomes reset, and they need more porn, and they need harder types of porn just to kick even.
Well, first of all, that is very interesting because the arousal, within sexuality, the arousal, obviously there must be some sort of chemical change. It is, I mean, people think it's down here. It's not, it's up here. Everything is up here, really. But I would think the vast majority of people watching would say, well, it's not, porn isn't a good thing, but, you know, if occasionally, you know, a teenage boy or a man looks at it, it's not the end of the world. You're saying it's inevitable, it is addictive in that people want more and harder versions?
Well, I'm not saying that pornography is wrong because it's addictive. I'm not saying it's wrong because the vast majority of ladies in the industry seem to have been abused as little girls. That's not why it's wrong. Those are the consequences of it. I'd say the problem, well, let's state what the problem isn't first. I suppose the problem is not that it shows too much, but that it shows too little of the human person, that it reduces the mystery and beauty of a person to a commodity, a thing to be used rather than a person to be loved. So we need to make that distinction. The problem with pornography isn't the naked body, because the naked body is good, and it's not sex.
See yourself.
Hey, dude, I have a wife. I can say, as a married man, that the naked body is very good. Mine not so much, but that's okay.
That's a wonderful point you made. It's not that it shows too much, it shows too little, because it has to objectify. There's no relationship.
That's right.
In a way, it's like a man using a prostitute. You are a thing to me. I will give you money. Of course, most porn, I suppose, is free. Or do they? I assume how it's the first one is free type of thing.
Well, what's interesting is people will say, "Look, I'm not supporting the industry. I go to free sites." But as my friend Donnie Pauling, who's a former Playboy producer, points out, these free sites make a lot of the cash. They get you know, a lot of hits on their site because they're free. Donnie Pauling would pay up to $2,000 for like 15 text links per day.
So it's advertising that's on the site. I see.
Yeah. There's no people out there just wanting to give you free porn for the sake of it. It's to draw you in.
They're not just being generous and philanthropic.
No,
here's some pornography.
Who would have thought? I thought they were just being generous, but apparently not. But what you point out is very true, because this is why there's a big difference between Hefner's bunnies in the Playboy Mansion and Michelangelo's nudes in the Sistine Chapel. One is like a window through we can see clearly to the beauty of the human person. Pornography is like a house of mirrors. It distorts our understanding of woman and man and sexuality, in my opinion.
And I assume. Again, most men, and it is overwhelmingly men. I know some feminists claim it's not, but it is.
Men have the corner market on visual pornography, but that's not to say that there is a growing number of young women that most certainly are looking at visual pornography, and we need to deal with that. And
yes, I actually think that the most men who look at it doesn't seem to interfere with them as functioning people, but we know of cases where men, their expectations have become in every sense perverted.
I think so.
And what they would demand of a partner, of a wife, of a girlfriend, their inability to relate to a woman beyond her sexuality.
Yes, it's really interesting. I mean, even Psychology Today just recently put out last week about this growing epidemic of young men with erectile dysfunction.
Really?
I mean, this is anything but a Christian or religious site. This is clearly very secular, and I wouldn't recommend half the stuff they suggest. But in this, they were saying there was a growing number of young men with erectile dysfunction because they just simply can't get it up around a real woman anymore.
To use the scientific terminology.
I think that is scientific. It's tragic. And so it
because they've seen so much porn?
Yeah, because as I said, I mean, what happens is the dopamine cells themselves, which give us this pleasure, begin to shrink, and the nucleus accumbens, which is at the center of our brain, the reward cells in the nucleus accumbens, smarter people than myself tell me, become starved for dopamine, and so they need more porn and you know, dirtier and dirtier stuff just to kick even. And so you get into a relationship with a real woman, and all of a sudden she doesn't wake up with a pair of bunny ears on, and you know, you're like, well, how...
And not just dirtier and dirtier, but closer to illegality, sadistic, if someone can be used merely for pleasure, well, they can be used in all sorts of ways.
Yeah, and I suppose the argument against that would be, well, these are two consenting adults, so I have the right to do it. But my argument would be, just because you have a right to do something, that's very different than a thing being right to do. So, of course, you know, that people who are watching this television show are hopefully intelligent adults who can make their own decisions. I'm not saying that they can't, but what I'm saying is, if they want to be happy, if they want anything that resembles love, if they want the true desires of their heart to be fulfilled, trash the stuff.
Okay, give me the website again, please.
Theporneffect.com.
Theporneffect.com. I wish we had longer. Will you be available to come back in a couple of weeks' time, maybe?
No, I'll be in San Diego.
You'll be in the States. Well, next time you're in town, because I find this is fascinating, actually. And I feared that you would give us some, you know, Bible thumping. But this is very, very good stuff indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Hey,